Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 10 of Dolphins Daily. This video won't have any gameplay, but we're going to be going over the player upgrades, the recap, how the season's been going, how I'm liking the sliders and things like that, and the future plans for the channel. So to start off, we're looking at player upgrades here. I like how player upgrades are this year. It's very simple and it's quick. You know, it doesn't really require a lot of thinking. I think the upgrade that they did from the old system to the new system was much needed, and I like it. I mean, it's something they should keep on expanding. I mean, it's easy. Just upgrade guys where you want them to be upgraded. Players do upgrade fast on here. I notice a lot, and I think that's fine in my opinion. I know for like the first couple preseason games and the first couple games of the beginning of the season, players were upgrading pretty quickly, but it really depends on their trait. So I like the progression that players where they upgrade at, and I just like it overall. How the team's been playing. The team, we're not doing too good so far. We currently have a losing record, and I'm recording this after a couple games have been played more, and we still have a losing record. This franchise was meant to be a rebuild, and it's most definitely looking like a rebuild. I didn't expect the team to be this bad. I don't know if it's just really me, the sliders, or it's basically the team, but I'm gonna get into that a bit later. You know, the team hasn't been performing too well. I wish the guys on the defensive side would cover more, and our O-line would block a lot harder, so we could have more running lanes. And we've had a lot of injuries, especially to our offensive linemen. I mean, when our O-line goes out, we don't really block as well, and we have to deal with the backups, and that only makes it harder to run the ball. But I could tell if we were to be healthy at the offensive line position, we would have been straight running the ball, but that's not the case here, and that's what makes football great. Amen. You have injuries, you have to overcome those. It's either you make changes immediately or you just wait till next year to make changes. And that's what we're going to do most likely. We're going to take a heavy look at the offseason, the free agency, and the draft to draft offensive linemen who are sturdy and are better than our backups, because right now our backups aren't doing a good job. They don't hold their block as well, and Tannehill is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. Speaking about Ryan Tannehill, he's really, I mean, it's kind of like with Russell Wilson in Seattle, but a bit better, I would say. But Tannehill isn't doing too good. I mean, his Tannehill offensive line, I mean, ever since he entered the league, he hasn't been protected too well, and that continues here. As you can see on the screen, 8 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Some of them are on me. I try to throw back across the field, and you just really can't do that playing with these sliders. It's not gonna give you that. And Tannehill, but the one bright side to Ryan Tannehill is that I think he's pretty good at throwing the ball. Also, he does an outstanding job of running out the pocket and gaining yards. I believe he has more rushing yards than Kenyon Drake and Kalen Balaz, but that could be due so that since the computer dropped back in coverage, I can step up in the pocket and run if I don't see no one open, and that's the case most of the time with the receivers. The receivers don't really get open, or everything is covered, or basically we're not calling good enough plays to get guys open. So Tannehill has to take off most of the time. That's why he's like up there in the top half of the league for rushing yards. So he's done a pretty good job. He just has to cut down on the fumbles and the interceptions, and I believe we'll be fine. David Fales is also looking to compete for a starting job, because this is Tannehill. This is an important year for Tannehill, but the way the O-line has been hurt and how they've been playing, I mean, what else could Ryan Tannehill do? I mean, he hasn't had run support all year, and hopefully that changes when we get our guys back. Injuries starting off the beginning of the season and into the preseason. Injuries were something that were hard to get right. I don't know why they have it on here like 50 injuries is just way too high, 40 is still way too high, 30 is still way too high. I believe I'm at 10 right now, and it's taking out my offensive lineman. But I think 10 feels pretty good at where it's at. I just can't get it to where I want the injuries. Yeah, you have minor injuries where the guy takes a play off and then he comes back. I want those type of injuries. I don't want injuries like every 2 or 3 drives. Like there's a guy getting injured here, he's out for the quarter. Another injury here, he's out for 2 quarters. I don't want that. I don't want like little nick and knack injuries. Like if someone catches a cramp, they have to take off a couple plays and they come right back in. They don't need like the decision to put them back in or not. I wish the injuries were more like that, more dynamic injuries, but it's whatever. The injuries have really plagued us this year. Danny Amendola went out, our offensive lineman Cameron Wake, linebacker Jerome Baker. I mean, those guys all going out, and I said this before, that's what I really like about playing franchise mode, because it forces you to adjust, and if you don't adjust, you're not going to do pretty well. So that's with the team. We haven't been performing too well, but it's a rebuilding stage. This series could go on for about 2 or 3 seasons. I mean, I'm pretty sure we won't be as good next season, but it really depends on how the team or how the O-line plays and the guys we have covering. So this will be a pretty lengthy franchise. It's just I gotta keep myself like focused and immersed with the game, because as you know, with Madden connected franchise mode, it's not as immersive as the other franchise modes out there. So I just gotta keep making those videos, keep getting the gameplay out. And that's about it. I'm trying to improve the team next season and the seasons on top of that. Going to the sliders. The sliders, I feel like they're kind of hard to gauge, because I'm playing with such a bad team, and the Dolphins don't have high expectations. So I don't know if it's just really me or it's just the sliders are just way too difficult. But I feel like if I were to make changes, it would be to the blocking. The run blocking is already at 90. And for the computer it's at 80. If I were to make changes, it would be to the user run blocking, probably 95, but I probably won't do that because it's so high. But the thing is that our starting offensive linemen, they're constantly getting injured, so we're putting in guys who's rated like a 65, 67 overall, and so that's why I'm kind of getting confused on whether if I want to change it or not, because maybe it's just the guys we have in who don't know how to block good, which is pretty realistic. I mean, if you have a 67 overall guy, I don't expect them to hold their blocks as long as a guy who's rated 75 or even 80. And that's why I'm finding fault with it. Like, what should I change, or should I just leave it out and test it out for the next season? And that's probably what I'm most likely going to do for next season. If our offensive linemen stay healthy and through maybe 6 games and we haven't been putting up a whole bunch of rushing yards, or we're not like really top half in the NFL or mid-level, I'll probably then make the change and bump it up to 95 or maybe even 100, because run blocking on this year's Madden is one of the worst I've seen ever. And they even put out a patch for it, but I don't really think it did anything. And that's because I'm playing with such a bad team, or maybe it's really on the sliders. So overall, I like how the sliders play. I mean, the teams play well. I don't know if it's just me playing with a bad team or not, but we're getting killed out there. I mean, the games are still competitive, but we haven't been able to put points up on the board, and that kills us in the late run, because in the second half, teams just get on these runs and they never look back, and we can't really answer match for match there. But I really like how the sliders are playing. I can't wait to see how they play in season 2, when I could get the guys I want and really implement my game plan. Right now, this is just like the first season of rebuilding, so we're gonna be pretty bad. I'm not sure if we're gonna have a high draft pick or a mid draft pick. The rest of our schedule isn't too hard. Those games are very winnable, but anything can happen. I mean, we only have 2 wins against the season. And just gotta get more. I did have my coach goal win set to 8 wins, and hopefully I don't get fired, but they said the chances of me getting fired was pretty low, so I'm gonna shoot for 8 wins again next season. But we just have to try and finish the season out strong. We definitely have to get coverage linebackers, guys who can defend the pass and also try and get in there on a blitz, because our DBs, our linebackers, they don't really know how to defend in coverage, and pressure isn't really getting there. We're constantly having to send blitzes, and that leaves our cornerbacks one-on-one on an island there, so that kind of hurts. Bright spot has been Rashad Jones. Rashad Jones has always played well. I do like Mika Fitzpatrick at that free safety spot, so that is pretty good. I'm hoping he turns into a top 5 safety in our franchise. One thing, since kicking is on the screen now, one thing that's really irked me so far is like with the kicking trajectory on all Madden, I have my controller vibration turned off, and sometimes when I go for a field goal or attempt a field goal, the kicking trajectory doesn't show up, and since I have the vibration off, I can't tell whether the kick is inside or outside. So I wish they would change that. I don't know, hopefully it's a glitch or a bug where they could patch it in where the kick trajectory always pops up, but in rare cases, and I know you've seen this in a couple of videos, in rare cases the kick trajectory just won't pop up. Even if I do call a timeout or whatever, it'll just stay, it'll just disappear. I don't know what. So yeah, basically talking about what's to come next. Basically, we have multiple seasons ahead of us to get back to the playoffs. I probably will most likely stick with Ryan Tannehill, but it really depends on how he performs towards these last games. I mean, we haven't been really doing too well, and if we continue on this losing skid, I'll probably put in David Fields to see what he could do with the guys and try and evaluate our talent from there. Drafts should be interesting. I've been drafting a lot, and I will have a video at the end of the season going over the guys we drafted. Going over the guys we scouted, because scouting is very important this year. Like I said, I'm mainly looking at the offensive linemen and coverage linebackers, and then we also have free agency, so that should be an enjoyable experience there for the off season. And then we will begin the preseason again. I'm not sure how I want to handle the preseason. I want to keep it around 15 minutes a video or less, and I don't want to just overwork myself there. So I also wanted to start a 2K series. I want to start a My GM, but don't know which team I'm going to choose. I've been thinking about using the Suns, the Spurs, or the Memphis Grizzlies. Last year, 2K18, I went with the Miami Heat, played 12 games, 12 minutes, 82 games for 2 whole seasons, and then you have the playoffs, and then you have the championship, which comes out to more than 100 games per season. And I'm pretty sure I want to do that this year, but it really depends on how the sliders turn out this year. I like the slider set that I had at the end of last year. I feel like they played pretty well, but there were some instances where you could tell the computer were clearly cheating, but those were rare instances. So 2K19, I'm looking to start a My GM, but I just have to make sure the sliders are well. So it may be months from now, maybe 2 or 3 months from now, that we start a My GM. And I also wanted to make tip videos on 2K19, like improving the game or like improving your skills. So that's what this episode was just a recap or update. And if you were watching, you could tell like our standings where we sit. I wasn't gonna go over it directly. I just wanted to speak over a video and tell you guys what we're coming up or how the team's playing and everything under the sun. But thank you guys for watching. Episode 11 will be out shortly in the next coming days, and I'm thankful for you guys for sticking with these series. Even though it may not be a lot of viewers, I'm still glad that people still watch these videos. But that will be the end of this episode, and I will see you guys in the next episode. One thing I almost forgot to mention, if you guys have any feedback or on things on what I should do or what you would like to see on the channel, let me know in the comment section. I'm willing to take people's feedback and implement it into this channel. I want to make it a channel about you guys and listen to the feedback you guys have. So anything that'll you think improve the quality, like where areas I need to be more in depth at or keep you guys updated more, let me know. I really want to improve this series and make it one of the best series out there. But for real, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in a couple days later for the next episode. Bye.